Hello friends, welcome back. I've been sorting out a bunch of stuff in my mind and getting ready for the next build. First we're heading out to the lighthouse as I have a kelp situation going on here. I'll come back to that. Yes, at the lighthouse I have been busy making a thing which I must show you. I really love this lighthouse. I have gone and made a custom painting of it, but I need a place to put it. It will probably be in Guildmaster Marin's office at the Guild HQ at Tidehaven Port, which, of course, I can't wait to build. Let's pull up over at the dock here. Whoa, and fall in. Hi, Salty. Just here for the goods. This way, hidden in the bushes, is a chest. And inside is iron. That's right, little old Kitty got herself an iron farm going. You could probably hear one of the golems at the moment. There's a crafting table there. What a game changer, to be flush with iron. Let's have a look. I might hook up an autocrafter to that chest at some point, but presently I've been using a fair bit of iron and I haven't had a storage issue yet. It produces about 400 iron per hour, though I haven't verified. Always trust but verify. Right, here it is. You can see there's a golem spawned on the platform there already. He's taking damage as he's spawned inside some of the foliage I've put there. I do have to be careful, as there's a zombie right below us and I don't want him to see me, otherwise I'll draw his attention and he needs to stay focused on the villagers over there. Here's Gary, who's making the villagers panic and causes the golems to spawn. When the golem sees the zombie, he'll try to go him, but inevitably falls, clipping the pressure plate connected to the trapdoor, which acts as a reset mechanism. It breaks the line of sight and allows the villagers to sleep briefly, which resets their sleep and panic cycle. Very clever. I'll link the farm in the description. If for whatever reason the farm stops, all you do is flip the trapdoor, breaking the line of sight and let the villagers sleep. I set up an item elevator at the bottom to carry the items collected to the chest outside. So that's that. There was a bit of troubleshooting where I had to use slabs around the outside of the lighthouse, as I kept getting a golem spawning out there, which was highly annoying. Right, we've got a bunch of iron. Let's craft those into iron blocks and grab these poppies. Anyone might think this is a poppy pusher operation. Alrighty. Thanks, Salty. I'll be back for more later. Now, on our way back to Vantage Point, let's check in on Master Bao and Snowball 2. Such a cute little boat. Everything seems to be in order here. You can see from here I've chopped back most of the jungle now, and I've done a lot of terraforming, both at the top and along this edge here. I haven't thought too much about the farm layout, but there will be some kind of structure, and also farm mobs, and maybe a stable and dock where the inlet is. Right, we're heading around to the little bay on the other side of the base. Down this side I've not really done much at all, but I do have plans. Oh yes, I have plans for days. In the little bay I have gone around and converted all the dirt to mud just by using a glass bottle. On the left here is where I plan on building a more commercial type of dock. Let's pull up here. Let me introduce to you Vantage Point's new resident, Merle. She's helping out at the towel stand here, keeping all the visitors to the springs well hydrated and dry, with these lush fluffy towels that actually smell like lily of the valley. This is slowly coming along. Bye Merle, let's head up this way. Here I've made my sniffer enclosure, plus one panda. I found the sniffer eggs back in episode 2, which is about 10 months ago now. I think I checked about 50 ocean ruins before I found them, but I tell you, time really does fly. Underneath here, I do have a chest and hopper grid beneath to collect the torchflower seeds and the pitcher pods. And by the way, mud does allow blocks to pass items into the hoppers below. This way. Just across this bridge, over on the left here, I have a temporary dirt bridge where I've made a tunnel and carved a walkway up the side of the mountain that heads to the future shrine. Down this way, I have made the first villager houses. What do you think? I reckon they're pretty darn cute. They fit 2 villagers each. There's not much in here by way of decor. And they've got this little area out the back here. I am a bit worried about these trapdoor fences. Villagers have a weird thing with trapdoors. If I need to, I'll end up using more barrier blocks in places. This footprint here is going to be a little greenhouse and flower stand. I've connected the new river to my existing one and I've put these land bridges in. Over there is a temporary wheat field which will be a future farm area. But here you'll notice a lot of bees. I have been breeding bees like crazy and moved out my original farm to make way for a bee farm. Got all these hives set up here and when I've finished I'll wait until night or when it rains to enclose the bees in. Over here I've made a cute little arbor with the pathway up to the well with loads of flowers around the bees. Now with that said, Bill Blitz mode activate. I loved building this greenhouse, and the bee farm too. Here's the flower stand, and I put a table and chairs here. Over here we've got a little cutting garden, and I might make a garden or mannequin for this area. With the greenhouse, it's actually really hard to build a glass dome at such a small scale, but I think I've got the balance right here. And let's face it, it's adorable. Let's go check out the bee farm. I've another resident of Vantage Point to introduce you to, Polly the Beekeeper. I've gone and done another mannequin animation, and just like Fondue, she is a fully animated mannequin which is controlled via command blocks and using armor stand waypoints. I've also used the Minecraft scoreboard system to create and track different states. It's basically a scoreboard-based state machine. It's triggered by these pressure plates, which changes the initial state to kick things off, and I've set up a number of different objectives and constants to track the waypoint tagging, the movement, her progression, and the pausing. And we'll show Polly. Polly, as a player, has these scores. Along the path she took are armor stands. They have a particular tag and a unique waypoint score. Every tick the system removes the current tag from all entities and re-adds it to a single waypoint, whose number matches Polly's current score. Her score will tick up as she moves toward her destination, a pause timer kicks in at the end of the route, and then her score will tick down so she returns. Polly's score is adjusted up and down depending on her direction value. Now, tucked away down here are the command blocks. I've labelled everything with these signs to at least give you some idea of what's happening. These are the 4 states for Polly. They change depending on different conditions being met. If we look at the pressure plate block, you have to be in God mode. You will see when activated, it changes her state to 1, and the relevant command blocks execute, which are repeating every tick and always active. Broadly speaking, the first few here control the waypoint tagging, then these ones control her movement and progression, these manage the state transitions and direction, these ones control rotations, and the last few are just some safeguards to prevent invalid states and smooth out her movement. I'll turn the command block output on so it appears in the console when I activate Polly, and what you will see is the system doing this loop every game tick, which is clear the current tag, find and tag the armor stand that matches Polly's current score. Polly moves or teleports and moves incrementally to be technically correct, the best kind of course. Then to advance the system, increases her waypoint score so she now targets the next stand. After her pause, the loop continues and her score will decrement until she gets back to the first waypoint. Now let's turn off and hide those stands. I set up 2 pressure plates that can activate Polly, so she'll randomly do her animation if I or another villager or a mob steps on the pressure plate. I really think it adds so much to these builds, especially in a single player world. Now for this bee farm, over here I've got a bit of a candle making area, and this barrel here holds all of the goods. A row of hoppers are under the beehives here, and I've got some dispensers at the back of those. This is a great farm design, by the way, which I'll link in the description. Inside you'll see I haven't hidden the redstone, but I've incorporated it into the build. Here's those dispensers full of shears, lots of trading to get all those books to enchant these, and 2 are filled with bottles. You have to keep the dispenser full to the brim with bottles, I am mostly sure of. If you craft honey bottles into honey blocks, you do get your bottles back, so you can restock the barrels above. With the redstone, what's happening here is a comparator is coming out the back of those mud bricks that run behind each beehive, and the signal makes its way to the top here as the hive fills up. And when it gets to the level 5 in the hive, the signal has just enough juice to power the dispenser immediately ahead of the redstone line. If the hive is already full when you set it up, you'll need to shear it. I think there's no mistaking this for anything other than a beehive. To complete the tour, heading around here is where I've moved the orchard, and down there I still haven't cleaned up my Easter picnic, but I do have some pretty cute bunnies that will get a home in the farm. I just don't want them to get eaten by cats, as there are a lot spawning around here because of the villagers. Do you like Polly's little bee in the back of her head? She's also got a few bites here and there. The dangers of beekeeping. This farm is cranking along pretty well. So, this is done, and now I can utilize the power of honey, that liquid gold. That was quite the encounter, and the first time I've run into a camel husk. I have really been enjoying using the new spear. I do need to get used to running with it though. I called mine Jibber Jabber. As you can see, I do have all the requisite enchantments on there. I thought it was time to update my base maps, which I do have on display over here. This is my very first map set of the land completely undeveloped. And this one was, let me check, about 5 months ago. It's showing the old farm area and the orchard. I really do love how all this is coming together. You can see where the farm was, and now we have the bee farm. We have the connected rivers and land bridges, the little greenhouse. The wheat field up there is a little bit of an eyesore at the moment. That will change. We've got the first villager houses, the sniffer area, the bungalows in the little bay here. I'll probably build more accommodation into the bamboo forest around here. Anyway, these are my live maps, so I will copy those and lock the set. Then, of course, rename them so I do know what's what. That's all for today, friends. I hope you liked this episode. Please give it a thumbs up. And remember, keep charting chaos and crafting order. Bye!